One of my things I really love is the garden. So, this rose and clematis we had to cut right the way down because the council were going to come and paint, which they didn't do. So it's now grown a new lease of life, so doing really well. This is the ericaceous border. The boys got me a couple of years ago. Previous to this, everything was in pots. And obviously, it stunts their growth. Since it's been put into here, everything's gone mad. So it's the ericaceous border. I'm still lucky enough to have spring flowers out. This bit of the garden only gets early morning and before lunchtime sun, so it's not often it gets any, although it can get a little bit depending on time of year. So this was one big mass of bushes that all merged together. James, quite depressed last year, so would attack things and has drastically cut back on all sorts of things for me. Also the Mahonia was mixed up with all sorts over there, so you can actually see what it's supposed to be now, and everything isn't glued between the fence and that, so I'm waiting him to sort out some new sheds for me. So don't know whether you can hear that, but the whole garden is surrounded at the moment in blackbird nests. So we have loads of blackbirds and their babies walking around the garden. Unfortunately, they're so used to me, they don't actually do social distancing. Thought this was a good idea to have a nice evergreen magnolia. Unfortunately, it grew so much, but we have taken a lot of that back before it had just completely overgrown within a few years. This also was heavily overgrown, and James has cut it all back so we can look and see what we've got better. When the ground is very wet, hopefully one day, I've said this for the last 2 years, the boys might put some log roll back around. Log roll's been sitting here waiting to go in for a couple of years, and then I can put some new topsoil and compost in and do that up a bit. Oh, if only I had the energy to get on that and do some bouncing. And James cut down this massive fir tree that was there, took the branches down, which we got rid of last year, and then more and more he cut down this year. And then Andrew came one day and took the rest of it away. Unfortunately, I'm waiting for Rob. There's 5 of those big bags waiting that are full of garden stuff to go. So when I actually moved in, all of this was just a field type thing, and a plum tree. So I will have been here 17 years in August, and so obviously then I had a lot more energy than I have got now. I was also school caretaker and swimming coach as well as Spring Common and Parkside, so obviously I had a lot more energy than to do this. And because I got a council house with Michael and James, being on my own, I took a lot of upset and aggro out of being on my own, and then leading up to the divorce, took it out on the garden. So at least something of good has come of it. But as I say, when I moved in, there was a broken bit of slabs outside the back door, which you nearly broke your neck to get to, and yeah. So although at one time I had tons and tons of energy to do it all, at the moment it's just about keeping on top of it. And since my operation, it's been really good because James has been cutting the grass for me. And what a relief to cut the grass last night and finally, after all these weeks, get the green bin emptied. That's his monkey puzzle tree. That was about 4 inches long, and he grew it in the greenhouse and then moved it out here a few years ago, and it's doing quite nicely. It is in a container, so we hope it won't go over the top. So in all these bushes all the way around, most of them have got a blackbird's nest in with babies. There's some on the chimney pot as well. And round the front I've got a box with a camera in, and at the moment there's a blue tit sitting on about 6 eggs, and she's been doing that now for, I think it's 2 weeks on Friday, so hopefully then some birds. So I thought this was more interesting